comfortably on your mat. We're going to start by taking a nice big inhale through our nose and then exhaling through your mouth, maybe letting out a sigh. And then just close your eyes so that you can check in with how you're feeling today in this moment. Noticing your breath and see if you can get that lovely hollow sound in the back of your throat. Call that the ujjayi breath, kind of like the sound of a seashell or a sea. Nice smooth inhale and exhale. And then we'll just slowly let our chin drop down to our chest. Taking a moment or two just to see how the back of the neck is feeling. And then slowly lifting your nose up towards the ceiling, stretching the front of your neck. Then maybe taking your nose over to your right shoulder and making a nice big circle. And then moving in the other direction, nice big circle the other way, just to see how your neck is feeling. Coming back to center, let's place our hands behind our head, elbows extending out. We're going to round our back, bringing our chin down to our chest. And then inhale, opening those elbows up, bringing your chin up towards the ceiling. So taking it nice and slow, moving at your own pace. At any point, if it's not feeling right for you, just don't do it. Beautiful. And then coming back to center, we're going to reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Taking the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind, looking over your shoulder, a little twist here. And then inhale, reaching up. And exhale, letting it come down the other side. Taking a breath or two. And then back to center. Bring your palms together and back down to your heart. Beautiful. Let's come on to our hands and knees. Getting yourself set up in our table position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Start with some cat-cows. So as you inhale, you're going to reach your nose up towards the ceiling as your belly sinks down. And as you exhale, we're going to round the spine, getting nice, big, strong back up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, let's let that belly sink down. This time we're going to exhale and come into a little lion's breath. So sticking out your tongue, getting rid of all that stale air. And then inhale, breathing in that fresh energy. And again, nice lion's breath. Inhale, taking a breath in, belly sinks down. And once more, lion's breath. Beautiful. Coming back to center. We're going to come into a little C shape with our waist. So taking your hands over to the right and keeping your hips where they are. We're just going to look over that right shoulder. Breathing into the left side of your ribs, and then back to center. And let's go over to the other side. Taking a few breaths here. And then back to center. Beautiful. Let's stretch the right leg out. Toes are on the mat. And just gently pumping your heel, just waking up your calves this morning. And then lifting your leg up. We're going to take the toes over to the left side of our mat and just looking over your left shoulder. Again, creating that space in your rib cage, taking a breath or two there. And then taking that leg, lifting it up. We're going to bend the knee and bring that foot to the outside of our right hand. Sinking down, maybe adjusting that back knee so you get a nice stretch. Bringing your hand onto the right knee and just looking over your right shoulder. So twisting it out here. And then bring your hand back down. We'll stretch that right leg back and get ready to do the other side. So left toes coming out. Just pumping your heel a couple times just to wake up the calves. And then lift that leg up and sending it over to the right side of your mat. Looking over your right shoulder. Taking a few moments, breathing into that space. And then bringing that leg back up. Let's bend the knee and bringing it all the way to the front of the mat. Sinking into your hips. Nice big stretch. Maybe bringing your left hand to the left knee and then looking over your left shoulder. And then coming back to center, let's bring our hand down. We'll stretch that leg back. And we're going to come into a little thread the needle pose. So taking your left hand up towards the ceiling. And then threading it through, letting your head and ear just rest down on the mat. Hips stay up towards the ceiling. Breathing into the upper back, making sure your neck feels okay here. Great, let's come back up. And doing the other side, right arm up towards the ceiling and threading it through, letting your right ear rest down towards the floor. And just settling, noticing any differences on this side. And then coming back up to our table position. Let's curl our toes under, bringing the hips up towards the ceiling and just pedaling out each foot, nice and slow. Letting your head hang down towards the mat, maybe shaking your head, yes and no. Releasing any stress or tension from your neck. And then both heels come down towards the floor, hips up to the ceiling. Taking a breath in, and as you exhale, maybe sighing it out. We'll take a nice slow walk to the top of the mat. Letting yourself hang over your hips, maybe swaying from side to side. And then coming back to center, back to stillness, rolling yourself up nice and slow. Stacking one vertebrae above the other. And when you're feeling stable, you can lift your head up, roll your shoulders down, coming into our beautiful mountain pose, just checking in to see how you're feeling. We're just going to get loose and limp here. So we're going to take our hands and sway them from side to side. Maybe lifting your heel off the floor. Good. And then coming back to center, letting everything settle down, having your feet far enough apart so you feel really good and solid on the mat. You can bend your knees a little bit. We're going to make some noise here. We're going to release the venom. So all of these days inside, you might have some frustration built up on your shoulders. So we're just going to grab it off of our shoulders, reaching up. We're going to throw it down 10 times and make it nice and loud with a big ha. Beautiful. Ha. Letting it go. Ha. Getting rid of any ha. Heaviness off your shoulders. Ha. Ha! 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 Beautiful. Ha! 2 more. Ha! And on your last one, hanging out over your hips. Woo. Shaking those shoulders. Ah. Let's bend the knees and very slowly rolling yourself back up to stand. Keeping your chin tucked until you're feeling stable and then letting those shoulders roll back and down. Ah, feeling a little bit better maybe, a little lighter hopefully. We're going to come back to the top of the mat and standing up nice and tall. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. Feeling that heart pounding, beating, vibrating. Taking a few moments, letting yourself settle into your heels. From here, we're going to just bring our hips out, bending our knees, sinking down into our favorite, that beautiful chair pose. So just feeling the weight in your heels, maybe lifting your toes and then setting them back down. So our thighs is where we hold all of those unexpressed emotions, anger, frustration. So just letting those thighs burn a little bit. We're going to take the left elbow here, bring it across to the right knee, and bring that right elbow up towards the ceiling. And just pushing into your palms, opening up the shoulders, smiling. And then maybe looking down to the mat, we're going to do something a little tricky today. We're going to take the left foot and bring it behind us. So coming into a little bit of a lunge twist. Takes a bit of balance. And then we'll bring our hands back to our heart, sinking into those hips. So your back heel is off the mat, front knee bent. And then reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the left hand to the front of the mat, right hand behind. Beautiful. Let's reach up, keeping your balance, and then exhale, lower down. I didn't say it was going to be easy today. Bringing your hands up and back down. Beautiful. Let's take the left hand to the floor, all the way to the mat, reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Bring the right hand back down. Let's stretch the right leg back. Bring the knees to the mat and resting back into child's pose. And just taking a few moments to settle here. Whew. Making any noise that feels good for you. And then on your next exhale, let's come back into table, rounding your spine back into that black cat. And then back into a sway back cow. And then back to neutral, let's curl the toes. We're gonna lift the hips up towards the ceiling and back into our downward facing dog. Taking a breath in and sighing it out. Let's take those feet back to the top of the mat, hanging out over the hips, bending the knees, and rolling yourself back up to stand. Shoulders roll back and down. And bringing your hands back to your heart center. We get to do the other side. So let's slowly sink down into those hips, sinking into the heels. Taking a few moments, noticing how it feels. And then when you're ready, you can take your right elbow across to the left knee, left elbow up towards the ceiling. Just gazing across those fingertips. And then maybe looking down so you can keep your balance. We'll take the right foot and sending it back. Coming into our lunge twist. And then bring your hands back to your heart. Let's reach them all the way up towards the ceiling. And this time, right elbow, right hand forward, left one back. Reaching back up. And sinking down. Reaching up. And once more, let's stretch the right hand forward. Left hand back, and then setting that right hand to the floor, left hand up. And bringing your left hand back to the mat, we'll send the left foot back to meet the right, coming into our plank pose. If it's too intense, bring your knees to the mat. And then we'll lower ourselves all the way down to the floor. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead. And just taking a few moments resting here. Feeling your heart beating. And then coming back up, let's bring our elbows underneath, coming into a little baby sphinx pose, stretching the front of your neck. And then we'll push back into our child's pose. And coming back up, let's swing ourselves around, sitting on our sits bones again. We're going to take our arms out nice and wide. And then just bend the elbows, bringing your hands onto your shoulders. We're going to do a little movement, a little breath work here. So as we move over to the left, we're going to inhale. And then as we go to the right, we're going to exhale. So inhale, exhale. Good, and then coming back to center, bringing your hands back down, just taking a moment, closing your eyes. Just noticing how much more alive you feel from when we started. And then we'll stretch the legs out, give them a little shake. Maybe flex your feet and point your toes. And then bringing the right knee in, we'll cross that leg over, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take the right arm behind us, setting it down, reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then letting your left elbow come to the outside of your knee, if that works for you, as you look over your right shoulder. Just twisting it out here, doing what feels right for you. Making sure the top of your head is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then slowly unwind. Let's stretch out the right leg and bring the left leg in. And we'll cross that leg over. Sitting up nice and tall, left arm comes behind us. Right arm goes all the way up towards the ceiling. And then just see if you can set this right elbow on the outside of your knee. If it's not working so well, you can always hug that knee in. And as you look over to the left, and then slowly unwind. And let's lay all the way down onto the mat. Getting your spine nice and long. Maybe lifting it up, setting it down. We'll bring the right knee into our chest and stretch that left leg out. Maybe bring your nose up towards your right knee. Maybe lifting your left foot off the floor. Taking a few moments, breathing here. And then lowering your leg and your head. Let's switch sides. Left knee comes in, right leg goes out. Bringing your nose up towards the left knee and maybe lifting your left leg off the floor. And then setting everything down. Let's bring both knees in for a little hug. Bringing your nose up towards your knees. And then lowering your head back down, bringing your feet back down to the mat. You can set your feet up hip width apart so that your ankles are underneath your knees. Hands are down by your sides. And as you exhale, let's push into the heels of the feet, lifting up your hips, making sure your neck has enough room. And just holding your hips up towards the ceiling here. Keeping your heels pushing into the floor. Knees hip width apart. It's a good way to activate the thyroid gland. And then very slowly, just lowering yourself back down towards the floor. Nice and slow and easy. Beautiful, letting your hips relax. Just taking your feet out to the edges of the mat, letting your knees collapse in on each other. We're going to bring our hands to our bellies. We're going to do a little buzzing breath here, just like little bees. So as you inhale, breathing in through your nose. And as you exhale, just bzzz. Breathing in again and then buzzing out. We'll do two more. Great way to calm yourself down. Let's stretch our arms out into a T position, wiggling those feet back in. Now we're going to come into a nice spinal twist here, letting your knees float down towards the right, making any adjustments so your shoulders stay resting on the mat, and then taking your head over to the left. Breathing all the way down the base of your spine. And just letting go. And then slowly bringing your head and your knees back to center. When you're ready, you can take your knees down towards the other side, letting your head go in the opposite direction. And then slowly bringing your knees and head back to center. Let's bring our knees in for a hug and just rocking from side to side. Maybe placing a hand on each knee and making some circles with your knees. And then the other direction. Lovely. Let's send those legs out nice and long on your mat. Reaching your arms up overhead, taking a nice big inhale. And letting out any sighs. Beautiful. Let's bring our arms back down by our sides. And just settling into our final pose. Closing your eyes. Feeling all of your back body supported by the floor. Feeling everything resting and relaxing. Everything softening. Maybe imagining a blue ball of energy just at your throat center. Seeing it clear and blue and spinning in a clockwise direction. Clearing out any blockages. Helping you to speak from your heart. And then just bringing a full breath into your belly. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe bending your knees and slowly rolling to your side. Making your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Beautiful. Taking a moment, close your eyes, checking in to see how you're feeling. And let's all do one collective Om together. So taking a nice big breath in through your nose. Beautiful. Bringing your hands together at your heart center. May you always remember to speak from your heart. Namaste.